So the TED Talk was going to be confidence through adversities. And I was kind of talked into it by the person that kind of helped me sort of write it the proper way for TED Talk because they're particular. And it made sense too because I've always lacked confidence my whole life, but not as much now. But what builds confidence is when people acknowledge things you do, if they support you or tell you good job. I never had that, ever. Very rarely, maybe a coach or somebody would say good job or you played great today. Very rarely. Dad was gone by the time I was 23. Me and him didn't really see eye to eye when I was a kid. He never came to none of my sporting events really anyway because he was busy making a living, obviously providing for us. So I commend him for that, right? But I was just too young and he was too old, 46 when I was born. And we just didn't have that. He couldn't relate to me, right? And that's all good. But point being is, some of it my own fault, some of it I consider bad luck, some of it just it's life, right? I've put myself, or I've had many things in my life that set me back. I mean, it could be as minor as I don't even know, losing something and not finding it, to almost dying, right? Like just lots of things. I used to be such a negative person, and I shit you not. My philosophy was think the worst and hope for the best. That way you're not disappointed. And I thought I liked that for a while. I lived with that. That way, I mean, seriously, that way I wasn't disappointed. And then it got changed, of course, when somebody, sales manager, mentioned about me being half glass empty kind of guy. I said, I kind of think I am, I guess. And he said, that's such a fucked up way to live. And this was only a few years ago. And I'm like, it is. So I've completely changed and tried to stay positive all the time, right? And my faith in God has been a big contributor to that too. But it ain't always easy in this time of life, especially the things we're going through. It's hard to stay positive, right? But my just being positive has helped me get stronger and closer to God even. I believe that. God puts us through, I think, challenges, and he gives his toughest challenges to maybe his toughest warriors. Kind of heard that before. Well, I don't know what he thinks of me, man, but I'm not made of steel. I've got, I have got a lot of stuff that I've been able to talk about that I never talked about in my whole life. You guys are getting to probably hear more of it than I've ever shared with anybody else. But the fact of the matter is, your friends and your family don't want to fucking hear it. Why they don't want to hear it, I don't know. Or you get accused of talking about yourself too much. But even my sisters have no fucking clue what I've been through because they're so much older. All they know is I got hurt in a car accident and that I got addicted to pain pills. My accident was a kid. Big things, right? But the little things I've dealt with over the life, I mean, as much as I ain't gonna throw her under the bus yet, I mean, just my ex, what she's put me through. I can't even believe somebody's got that kind of a cold heart, really. I mean, and the fact that I love this woman with all my heart. I ain't gonna lie. I was so fucking happy and content. Her kids were my kids, and they still are. They don't treat me as anybody that worth the shit now, but it's affected my relationship with my daughter too, and that's really been the hard part. I get it. She wants to have a relationship with her siblings, right? But guess who's always the odd man out? I used to chalk it up as her age, but she really doesn't want much to do with me. It's like she's embarrassed to bring her friends around me for some reason. And I don't even know. That's the problem with being an empath. We overthink it. We want to know why. So when I confront, I'm accused of talking about only being cared about myself. That's so fucking far from the truth. It's not even funny. Yeah, I want to know why someone doesn't like me if they don't, because I don't give anybody a reason not to. And if I do, I know it and I acknowledge it and I apologize for it, right? But so many people don't apologize or don't find that they do something wrong, right? So I find myself in this predicament sometimes, and a lot of times really, where I'm the only one saying sorry, or I'm the only one acknowledging my part in something. How come that there's so many people in this? I mean, honestly, I know a lot of them that don't have the ability to say sorry or don't feel they did something wrong, or they feel that they're justified in how they treated you because maybe you treated them bad first. Well, my philosophy is it takes two to tango. I may have started it, I may have fucking retaliated, and to be honest with you, I might be better at both than they were. Fact of the matter is, we're both fucking guilty, and if both don't apologize, that's a problem because one thinks the other one's all wrong and that they did nothing wrong. If you don't have the ability to acknowledge your faults or acknowledge the things you've done wrong, that's narcissistic, and that's a fucking huge problem if you're trying to make relationships with people. Because as the fucking Elton John song goes, sorry seems to be the hardest word, and it really is for people. I've said it my whole life. I say it too much sometimes that I even say it when I really don't mean to. It's just part of my common wording. I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. Even though it's no big deal. But some people can't even fucking get that S out. So my question would be, what do you think causes people to be that way? Like, do you think they're born that way, or they're just maybe the way they've grown up, or they've been brainwashed, or somehow manipulated to be self-righteous, I guess you could call it? Because if you don't think you ever do anything wrong, or you only think maybe you've done something wrong once or twice in your life, maybe, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you don't have the ability to just say sorry 80 fucking times, I feel like there's something wrong with you. Because even if it's just accidentally bumping into somebody, or even if it means you cut in line on accident because you didn't see somebody, but to not acknowledge it as, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. That's easy for me. Why is it not for some other people? Some people just can't admit their faults, or they want to this is what a real narcissist, they turn everything around and make excuses for their actions, and then they put it on the other person. That's what a narcissist does. And I found out I was doing that in my own marriage for a long time. I would be apologizing for stuff just because I always started thinking maybe it was my fault. But then I'd be like, no, it wasn't. But I just wanted to get the fucking fight over with. Like, why do I want to? I'm not giving in, I just like to get along with people. But what gets me pissed off is when those same people don't want to get along back. Well, fuck you then. That's my attitude. Fuck you. If you don't respect me enough or care enough about my feelings to acknowledge that you may have hurt them or may have fucking pissed me off, then fuck you. That's when I've got a really bad problem with it. And I still should let it go. But if I'm willing to say I'm sorry, or I don't want to fight anymore, if I did something to bother, piss you off, I'm sorry. Why is that so fucking hard for people? It's easy though for them to go, thank you, I appreciate you saying sorry, but not say it back. Why does that enrage me? Because it takes two. There's no way I got mad or I said anything mean or nasty ever if somebody else didn't trigger me. So they're automatically guilty. Even if you just disrespect somebody, or you don't show up when you're supposed to, or you don't call somebody back. Not that shit gets me fuming. I'm just talking about the fact that you won't even acknowledge it. Like, man, I'm sorry I got caught up today. It's just natural for me. Maybe more than some. I probably shouldn't do it all the time. But why is that hard? To just acknowledge you fucked up. You know what I mean? I don't know what people's problem are. All I know is maybe I think think through things too much and I have heightened feelings.